My husband of 14 years leaves one Tuesday night. Kala is at a friend's house. Thaddeus sits at the kitchen table. He puts both hands flat on the surface. He does not look at me. He says, "I need to go." I do not know who I am anymore. I do not shout. I do not ask questions. I say, "Okay." He packs one bag. He walks out the front door. I sit alone at the kitchen table. The door closes. The house is very quiet. That is how my story starts. But it does not start on a Tuesday. It starts much earlier than that. My name is Marin. I am 42 years old. I teach art at a middle school in Columbus, Ohio. I do not feel sorry for myself. I try to stay honest about things. Those are just facts. I have a daughter. Her name is Kala. She is 16. I have a house and I love it. The trim on the windows is green. There is a big oak tree on the street in front of my house. And I have a husband. His name is Thaddeus. We married 14 years ago. Our life together is not dramatic. It is not broken. We eat dinner together every night. We pay our bills together. We go to Kala's school events together. We have a routine. I woke up first. I make coffee. Thaddeus reads his phone at the table. Kala comes down last. She does not want to talk in the morning. We are all three the same that way. From the outside, we look like a normal family, but from the inside, something is different. We stopped asking each other real questions a long time ago. We talk about the gutters. We talk about Kala's grades. We talked about what to make for dinner. We do not talk about ourselves. Our 14th anniversary comes in October. I cooked Thaddeus's favorite meal that night. Chicken and rice with the sauce he likes. I set the table with care. I put 2 white candles on the table. I open a bottle of his favorite wine. The table looks nice. I look at it for a moment before I call him. We sit down together and start to eat. Halfway through dinner, his phone buzzes on the table. Thaddeus stands up. He says, "1 second." He walks outside and closes the door behind him. I wait. 5 minutes pass, then 10, then 15, then 20. I keep the food warm on the stove. I do not touch his phone. I look at the candles. I look at his full glass of wine. He comes back inside. He says, "Sorry. Work thing." He looks at his plate. He says, "I am actually not that hungry. I blew out the candles. I cover the food. I wash all the dishes alone." He never explains that call. I never ask. After that night, the months pass. November, December, January. Our house is still a normal house. We still eat dinner together. We still talk about the gutters and Kala's grades. But something is different now. I feel it. I do not say it. He does not say it. We just keep eating dinner. Then that Tuesday night in February, he says the words. He packs one bag. He walks out the door. And I sit alone at the table. That night, I slept on my side of the bed. His side stays flat and clean. Nobody touches it. I wake up at 3 in the morning. For one moment, I forget. Then I remember. I look at the ceiling until the room turns light. The next morning, I stood at the kitchen counter. I put my cup under the coffee maker. Then I put a second cup next to it. Out of habit, I fill the first cup. Then I fill the second one. I set it on the counter. Then I remember. I picked it up. I pour it down the drain. I watch the coffee go. I will not explain this to anyone. I just move on. That is the only thing I know how to do. The first weeks are not peaceful. I go to work each day. I stand in front of my students. I teach them about color and line and shape. Then I drove home. One evening, I cooked dinner for 2 people. I do not think about it. Then I see the 2 plates. I throw the extra food away. The next day at work, I sit with my class and watch them paint. One boy paints a house with a big yard. A girl paints a red tree. I do not tell them to fix anything. I just say, keep going. I think about this on the drive home. One day, I went to the grocery store. I walk down the cereal aisle. I see the brand Thaddeus always buys. I picked up the box. I stand there in the aisle and hold it. Then I put it back. I walk to the checkout without it. I drove home. I set the table with 1 plate and 1 glass. It takes me several more days to stop putting 2 glasses down every time. I tell Kala what I can. I try to be honest with her. She asks me, "Do you know it is coming?" I say, "No." She is quiet for a moment. Then she says, "But do you feel it?" I do not answer. That silence says everything. One evening, I opened my phone. I go to Thaddeus's page. I see a new photo. He is at a restaurant. He sits at a table with 4 friends. He smiles at the camera. He looks happy. His face is relaxed. I put the phone down. I look at my 1 plate on the table. I look at the half-eaten food in front of me. I picked the phone up 1 more time. I look at the photo again. He looks rested. He looks lighter. I put the phone face down on the table. I did not look at his page again that night. 3 weeks after Thaddeus leaves, it is a Saturday. Kala is out with a friend. The house is very quiet. I decided to clean the home office. Thaddeus's things are still everywhere. There are folders on the desk, old receipts, cable chargers on the floor by the wall. I got a large box from the closet. I fill it with his folders and his receipts and his chargers. I write his name on the outside of the box. I put the box near the front door. I open the big drawer in the desk. Inside there are old pens, a dead battery, a folded receipt from a hardware store. I take everything out and put it on top of the desk. At the very back of the drawer, under a stack of old papers, I find 1 piece of paper. I picked it up. I unfold it. I read it. It is a printed email, an apartment listing, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, good natural light, a washing machine inside the unit. At the bottom it says, "Available February 1st. Call to schedule a viewing." I read the price. I read the address. The apartment is 12 minutes from our house. Then I see the date at the top of the email, October 14th. Thaddeus leaves in February, but this email is from October. October 14th. I sit very still on the office floor. What happens in October? I remember. October is when I plan our anniversary dinner. October is when I buy his favorite wine. October is when he walks outside for 20 minutes and comes back not hungry. He looks at apartments in October. While I set the table, he reads apartment listings. While I put out the candles, he thinks about deposits and a new address. While I believe in us, he plans a way out. I do not cry. I sit down on the office floor with the paper in my hands. I read the address 1 more time. I read the date 1 more time. I fold the paper in half, then in quarters, then in eighths. I put it in the pocket of my jeans. I stand up. I go back to the kitchen. I finished cleaning. I make dinner. I eat alone. No shouting, no crying, just me, just a folded piece of paper in my pocket. A few weeks later, it is Thaddeus's birthday. I am in the kitchen. I wash the dinner dishes. In the living room, I hear Calla pick up her phone. She calls her father. I hear the phone ring through the wall. 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings, 4. He does not answer. Calla waits. I stand still at the sink. I hold a dish towel in my hands. Then Calla starts to sing, "Happy birthday to you." Her voice is a little off-key, but she sings the whole song, every single word. I do not move. I do not breathe. I hold the dish towel in both hands, and I listen. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Daddy. Happy birthday to you. Then the last note ends. Silence. I hear Calla's feet cross the floor slowly. I hear her go up the stairs. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. I hear the door to her room close. She does not say anything to me. She does not come into the kitchen. She just goes upstairs. I stood in the kitchen for a very long time. My hands still hold the dish towel. I do not move. I look at the wall in front of me. I do not go anywhere. I just stand there. Then I go back to washing the dishes. Calla never tells me if he calls back. I never ask her. 2 days later, Thaddeus's mother, Odelia, called me, not to ask about me. She says, "I talked to Thaddeus today. He sounds so much lighter now. I am so happy for him. She is kind. She does not know what I know." I say, "I am glad." I hung up. I sat on the stairs for a long time. My husband of 14 years sounds lighter now. I do not know what to do with that. I put it with the folded paper in my mind. I carry both. 6 weeks after Thaddeus leaves, Calla comes home from dinner with her father. She talks about the food, the restaurant, a story about school. Then, in the middle of a sentence, she says, "Oh, and Dad's friend Dana is there for a little while." I load the dishwasher. I stop. I do not turn around. I say, "Oh." Calla says, "Yeah, she works with him. She seems nice." Then she goes to her room. I close the dishwasher slowly. I did not ask anything else that night. Later, after Calla goes to sleep, I open my laptop. I type Dana's name and the name of Thaddeus's company. I found her work profile online. There is a photo, a woman, dark hair. She smiles at the camera. Her job title says, Senior Project Manager. She and Thaddeus have 12 people in common on the site. I looked at the photo for a long time. I think about Thaddeus at the anniversary dinner. I think about the phone call outside. I think about the 20 minutes. I think about the paper in the desk drawer. And now I think about this photo. I close the laptop. I do not know if something happens between Thaddeus and Dana. I do not know if she is why he leaves. I do not know if she is just a name. I think about this question every day. It does not go away. I carry it, with the paper in the drawer. I carry them both. My friend Blythe comes over one Friday evening. She brings a bottle of wine. We sat out on the porch together. I do not plan to say anything about Dana, but I almost do. I open my mouth. I closed it again. Blythe says, "What do you not say right now?" I say, "Nothing." Blythe looks at me. She does not push. She holds her glass and waits. She is good at waiting. I look at the street for a moment. A car passes. Then I say, I think there is someone. Blythe says, do you know that for sure? I say, no. Blythe looks at her glass. She says, do you want to know? I am quiet for a long time. Then I say, I do not know yet. Blythe nods. She does not say more. And I am glad. That is the most honest thing I have said in many months. My mother, Sybil, is 70 years old. She lives in Pittsburgh. She drives to Columbus to see me. She arrives with a casserole and many opinions. The first night, she says some wrong things. She says, do you talk to your pastor about this? She says, maybe you work too many hours. She says, a good marriage needs two people who both try. I listen. I do not argue. I fill her with tea. I stay quiet. The next morning, we went for a walk in the neighborhood. Sybil looks at the oak tree in front of my house. She says, that is a very good tree. I say, yes. We walk the whole block without many words, but it is a good walk. Then, late on the second night, the house is quiet. Kaya is in bed upstairs. My mother and I wash the dinner dishes together at the sink. Sybil dries each dish slowly. She is quiet for a while. Then she says, you know what I think? I think you hold everybody up for so long. Thaddeus, Calla, the house, your students. And nobody stops to ask if you need help too. She dries a glass. Then she says, I do not mean him. I mean from yourself. I keep washing. I do not answer her, but I remember these words later. I come back to them again and again. I start to paint again at home. The first paintings are dark. The colors do not work well together. The shapes do not go anywhere. I paint over them. I start again. I paint over those too. One Saturday, I paint something that surprises me. A table, 2 chairs, 1 empty cup on the table. I look at this painting for a long time. I put it against the wall with the front side facing away from me. I am not ready yet. I go to work. I teach. I come home. I make 1 cup of coffee now. I learn how to do that. 2 months after the night I find the paper, Thaddeus sends me a text. It says, can we talk? Just coffee. No pressure. I read the message. I put my phone down. I pick it up again. I read it one more time. I type, Saturday, 10 a.m., Birch Street Cafe. I send it before I think too much. I pick my clothes with care, not to impress him, not to look like I try too hard. I pick the blue blouse I buy for myself last month. I put on my favorite earrings. I look in the mirror. I look like myself. That is enough. Calla sees me get ready to leave. She says, are you meeting Dad? I say yes. She nods. Then she says, text me after, okay? I say okay. I walk out the door. Thaddeus is at the cafe when I arrive. I see him through the front window before he sees me. He looks okay, rested, less tense than I remember. For one moment, I do not like this about him. I do not know why. Then I push the door open and go inside. We hug each other. It is brief. It is careful. We do not know the right amount of pressure. We sit down across from each other. We order 2 cups of coffee. We talk about Calla first. then about work, then about his new apartment. The conversation is awkward in places, but it is not mean. About 10 minutes in, I reach into my bag. I take out the folded paper. I unfold it once, then twice, then a third time. I put it flat on the table between us. I say nothing. Thaddeus looks at the paper. He goes very still. He knows what it is. His face changes. He looks caught. He looks ashamed. He looks very tired. I say, October 14th. He does not answer. I say, I cook your favorite dinner. I put out candles. You go outside for 20 minutes. You come back not hungry. He closes his eyes. I say, how long do you plan to leave before you say one word to me? A long pause. Then he says, 4 months. I nod. I already know this, but I hear him say it out loud now. That is different from just knowing it. I say, you cannot tell me? He says, I do not know how to say it. I say, so you just wait while I make anniversary dinners. He says, I am a coward. I do not say he is wrong. There is a quiet moment, and then I say it. I say, tell me about Dana. Thaddeus goes very still. His face changes again. He looks at the table for a moment. Then he looks at me. He says, nothing happens between us. His voice is low. He says, but I want to be honest with you. He stops for a moment. Then he says, at that time I have feelings for her. I do not act on them. Nothing more than feelings. But I want you to know the truth. The cafe is quiet around us. I look at him for a long time. My coffee is cold now. I do not drink it. Then I say, thank you for telling me. And I mean it. I do not know if I fully believe him. I do not know if it matters right now. But the truth is better than nothing. I put it away inside me. I take it out again when I am ready. Near the end of our coffee, Thaddeus speaks quietly. He says, I know I do not have the right to ask for anything, but I want you to know, I miss you. Not the idea of you. You, the way you actually are. He waits. I look at him for a long time. I say, I hear you. I do not know what to do with that yet. He nods. He does not push me. We walk out together. We say goodbye in the parking lot. I get in my car. I drive away. He stands and watches me go. In the car, I do not cry. I turn on the radio. I drive 2 blocks. I turn it off. I think of my mother's words. By yourself. I drive home. I do not rush. I take 3 more weeks. Then I call Thaddeus. I tell him some things are not open for argument now. I paint on Saturday mornings. That does not change. I take walks in the evenings. I ask hard questions. And I want real answers. I do not manage his feelings for him. I do not carry everything alone again. I say, I need a real partner, not someone I take care of. A real partner. Thaddeus says, that is what I need to be. I know that now. I say, knowing is not enough. You need to show me every day. He says, I know. He does not make big promises. He just says he knows. He also says he sees a doctor now, someone to talk to. I say that is good. I mean it. Kala sees us talk on the phone more now. She asks me one evening, Mom, do you two get back together? I say, I do not know yet. We are honest with each other now. Maybe for the first time. Kala thinks about this. Then she says, I just want you both to be okay. Even if that means you are separate. I look at my daughter. She is 16. She is wiser than both of her parents right now. I say, when do you get so grown up? Kala says, somewhere around October, I think. She says it like a small joke, but I feel it in my chest. October, when everything changes. And I do not know it. Thaddeus comes for Sunday dinner one week, just the three of us at the table. It is not perfect. There is an awkward moment after the salad. Nobody speaks for a few seconds. Then Kala tells a funny story about a teacher at her school. Thaddeus and I both laugh at the same time. It is the first time we laugh together in a very long time. Thaddeus washes all the dishes after dinner. I do not ask him to. He just does it. After that, Thaddeus and I sit on the porch outside together. We do not say much. We look at the oak tree on the street. A neighbor walks past with a dog. We both say hello. He does not stay late. He drives back to his apartment. But something is different now between us. Something careful and new. Not love again in one night. Something slower. Something to earn. The story ends where it starts. I stand in the kitchen. Morning light comes through the window. I boil the water. I set out my cup, just one. I do it without any thought, without sadness. Just one cup, for me, because that is what I want this morning. I walk past the living room. I look at the wall. The painting I make months ago is on the wall now. I turn it around last week. A table. 2 chairs, 1 empty cup. I look at it now without turning away. I do not know what it means, but I can look at it. Thaddeus and I still work things out. It is slow. It is real. Some days are easy. Some days I look at his face. I think about October. I think about a man in a quiet home office. He reads apartment listings. I put out anniversary candles in the next room, and I do not know. On those days, I go for my walk alone. I come back home. I paint. I do not know if we make it together. I do not know about Dana. Not fully. Maybe I never know. I do not know what next year looks like, but I know this. I am not the same woman who says okay that Tuesday night. That woman holds everything. She says nothing. She makes herself small to fit around other people. I am done with that. I think of my mother at the sink. Maybe it is okay to just be held by yourself. I understand this now. To hold yourself is not about being alone. It is about knowing what you need. You do not give all of yourself away. I stand at the kitchen window. I hold my coffee cup in both hands. The coffee is warm. Outside, the oak tree on the street is full of new leaves. They move in a small wind. The light comes through the leaves. It makes small pieces on the grass below. Then, I hear a door open upstairs. I hear Kala's feet on the stairs. 1 step, 2 steps. She walks into the kitchen. She does not say anything. She makes herself a cup of coffee. Then she walks to the window and stands next to me. We both look out at the oak tree together. The leaves move. The light changes on the grass. Kala takes a sip of her coffee. I take a sip of mine. We stay at the window for a long time. Nobody speaks. Nobody needs to.